Our reality is that, yes, we're human. Yes, we're flesh and bone and all that. But there's something else that we're not considering that we are. We're bilateral entities, and we're based on 39 degrees because that's the bilateral half. Bilaterals, one half, bilateral, the other half. 39. That's our number because why? Why are we bilateral entities? Because we are divided right down the middle. Two eyes, two nostrils, two ears, going down, two arms, two legs, right down the middle. Bilateral entities, 39. So that's easy to understand. There's another entity that's similar in numbers, but it's times two. They're not bilateral. They're an energy entity. When you take 39 and you times it by 2, or you take my helix tube.
This is the 260-day calendar, folks.
From
which
rolled
the
into
Aztec
a road.
year count calendar and Earth's year count calendar.
This is for us bilaterally. It's one page rolled into a tube. 39. Now imagine taking an entire page and then another entire page and putting those two pages together instead of just one page rolled together. And you have a tube that's going to be about this big because now you have two of these together, which means 78 in the helix instead of 39. The entities I'm referring to are these entities that are made from one full page and another full page of these calendars that are connected together. So they make a 78 helix instead of a 39, and are not bilateral entities because they are vibrating at a higher frequency. And they're at such a higher frequency that they're beyond our perception of vision. They're beyond human hearing, or we can't perceive them because our eye levels don't go to that frequency. But they can see us, they can hear us, they can interact with our world because as an energy entity, they can step in out of their reality and into our reality so easy they can step in and step out. And when they step into our reality, they can assume any shape or any form that they want. Because they're not of human form, they can come and become any manifestation, anything that you want. And that's why you need to control your fears. Because if they don't like you or want to get rid of you, they'll show up as your worst fear.
And you know what, Raj? Monster Slayer was able to step through portals to fight the different monsters, but also another level of understanding of Monster Slayer, who is one of the Navajo twins, Nayet Desgana, is you overcome your fears. Those are the monsters.
Now you're getting it. I've been trying to explain that all along. See, Monster Slayer is a metaphor for controlling your fears in order to gain this knowledge.
And I want to fill in for the people a little bit of a gap because Roger went from algebra or basic math to like calculus. So he was talking about the double helix on this 260-day calendar. So
if that was transparent, you could see the helix. If it was plastic, you could see through it. You'd see the helix.
So I'm gonna still back up a little bit more, Raj. Okay, so this calendar is a 260-day calendar. It's been rolled up into a tube. The day names are hidden because we're just focusing on the numbers. So there are 20 cycles. There's 13 cycles of 20 days. And so when you choose a number, any number in this case, Raj chose 1.
The blue is 1,
right.
Just to show. All the numbers do what number 1 does, but I just...
So, yep, they all do it. Blue. So, here's 1, 1, 1. I'm starting at the bottom, Roger.
Okay.
Then 1, you follow the 1 around, and what you start to see is that the
It's going in a
1 is
spiral
going
here.
in a spiral. So this is the 260-day calendar. So what this means is that time
It's a
is a spiral. Okay? Now, in order to see the double helix, what you have to do is you take the this piece of paper, and I don't know, the older folks, we remember Elmo's. You needed,
Print it out on acetate at Kinko's. It's a transparent plastic, and it makes the same thing, but it's just clear acetate.
see-through. Yep.
And you make the same form, and then you can see the helix. But you can see
So-
the other side.
So when you are able to see through it, that's when you see the double helix that forms. And so Roger was saying this is 39, and if you have a second tube right next to it, that is rolling as well. They're both rolling together.
You take this page out and you fold it out. Then you take another page and you fold it out and you put those two together.
There you go. Oh, okay. So that's
Double.
39 times 2, which is 78.
And that's what I'm saying about vibrating at 78 frequency.
Oh, and
Energy.
can you
and
talk
the-
about Mars? Because this is
Well-
directly related to Mars's
well,
synodic
Mars-
period.
If you look at 260 and you times it by 3, there's that number again, which is this. It's 780. What, 780? That's also the orbit of Mars. But it's also, if you take 60 times 13, it gives you 782, which is the same number for the orbit of Mars. So there's some kind of connection to Mars to the 78, but there's also a connection to a 78 to one of the moons on Jupiter, which is also vibrating at 78. So there's something going on with the 78 on Jupiter's moon. I'm sure it's Guyana or whatever that name is, one of those in median radio frequencies. And there's another one that's the on Mars, which is 78 in relations to the 78 that's on here. The other thing about this tube is that we're looking at it in the round, yeah. But there's a thing I've been studying which I haven't figured out totally yet, which might have to do with portals. Everybody sees the time and the reference and how it is to 1268, yes. But there's something I've been trying to figure out is what happens when you look at the tube this way. If you go down the tube this way, can you come out anywhere on anywhere of those places?
Oh, like little doorways?
Yeah, but you got to figure out how to get
Time
into
traveling?
the tube, and you could come out to any of these locations.
So that would be what ultra terrestrials could do.
I think the white man calls it wormhole.
No. Well, that's also what ultra terrestrials can
Yeah,
do.
ultra-terrestrial beings. I'm trying to define that to a lot of people. An ultra-terrestrial being is not an extraterrestrial because it has nothing to do with coming from another galaxy. It has nothing to do with the parallel universe. It has to do with two intersecting lines are going across each other, what's producing this energy, which I am talking to you about, called this energy entity.
Oh.
And where these two lines intersect, is there a way that they can come into our reality? Like I was talking about earlier, aliens or bilateral entities, which is us and them, they travel on our globe physically on crafts going across our surface, following these lines to go around the globe. Big deal because they could get around quick and fast because they got the things to do it. Energy entities travel a whole lot different. Where the lines intersect and where there are portholes, these energy entities can go through these two intersecting lines in what we humans call portals by astral projecting. Not physically in a nuts and bolts ship, not in a flying saucer, not in anything that we're thinking of, but through astral projection because of their being an energy entity. they have the capability of getting to that frequency that they can astral project through these lines.
So you know what that makes me think of?
Hmm.
Because these lines are mapped on the global mapping system that you have. So Kukulkan is associated with where lines cross. Quetzalcoatl is associated with where lines cross. Hansen Lake is associated with where lines cross.
Go further.
Iatoy,
Buddha
Wovoka.
at 2600 at Adalai, India, 2600 is where lines intersect. Vishnu in Angkor Wat at 1300 is associated where lines are intersecting. See where I'm going with this? Shiva in the Himalayas is at where these lines intersect as well. Not just our entities, but entities globally. It's a big, big picture. Yeah, I'm proud of the Quetzalcoatl and Iatoy and all of that, what we're finding on this side. But then you look at the bigger picture, then you find, oh my God, Buddha's attached to this thing. Vishnu, Brahma, and all those guys.
Wow, that's okay. That's a little mind
The
blowing.
big picture. I mean, it's not just us in the Americas, it's also tied to the other side of the world.